Hello. Welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole. Today we're going to go into a legend that I do not personally believe exists, but we're going to talk about the origins of this legend and everything else. Before I dive in, hit that like button, ring that bell for notifications, please subscribe, help a girl out. I do work two jobs. It is very exhausting. But please pray I get me another job that actually pays better and everything, guys. Please. Or don't, just whichever one. But yeah. But I do have four sister podcasts. One is called um, Sassy Sunbell. The other one's True Crime Lounge. The other one is Just a Breezy Chat. And the other one is Dark Academia Queen. I know there's a lot of Dark Academia podcasts, so we're going to get caught up, shall we? But yeah, we recently talked about Jenny Jerome, and we've also talked about Georgina Spencer, who's also Georgina Cavendish. Now, here's the question. How is Jenny Jerome and Jenny and Georgina Spencer related to each other? Well, let's see, shall we? Anyway, for some reason, I'll find out later. That would be a research that I had to find out myself because apparently I needed more time to cover it. Now, what do we know about the Chupacabra? Well, we know it does not exist. I do not believe it exists, but there's been many videos and documentaries that believe this exists, and I just don't see it, don't believe it, really don't. But anyway, what do we know? This is a legendary monster that is said to roam the deserts of New Mexico. It resembles a bear-sized dog, spikes along its back, and glowing eyes. Yeah, you can tell by the look on my face that I'm like, I don't believe it whatsoever. Anyway, so with that being said, it can fly and suck blood out of cattle and other livestock. In fact, the name Chupacabra literally translates to goat sucker. So, this is a folklore, a legendary creature that has been created by American folklore. And the name comes from the animal's reported vampirism. So, we all know I did an episode some episodes back on my Dark Academia where I talked about vampirism, but never really got into the animal vampirism, did I? No. Anyway, the name comes from an animal reported vampirism, and the chupacabra is said to have attacked and drank the blood of livestock, including ghosts. Now, there are many physical descriptions of this creature. In Puerto Rico, in the Hispanic Americas, it is generally described as a heavy creature, reptilian and alien-like, roughly the size of a small bear and with a row of spines reaching the neck and the base of the tail. While in the southwestern United States, it is depicted as more like a dog-like. So, have been many initial sightings accompanying description that first occurred in Puerto Rico in 1995, and this creature has since been reported as far as north as Maine and as far south as Chile, and even outside the Americas, as in countries like Russia, Philippines, and all reports are anecdotal or have been disregarded as uncorroborative and lacking evidence. Now, sightings of these in northern Mexico and southern U.S. have been verified as candid or afflicted by manage. So, where does it get its name from? Well, it translates to goat sucker. It is known as both chupacabras and chupacabra, and is throughout the Americas with the former being the original name, as the latter regularization. The name is a tribute to a Puerto Rican comedy, Silverio Perez, who coined the label in 1995, commenting on the attacks of the San Juan radio DJ. So, in 1975, there was a series of livestock killings in a small town in Moca, Puerto Rico, that were attributed to El Vampiro de Moca, and this translates to the Vampire of Moca. Now, um, initially, it was suspected that the killings were committed by a satanic cult. Later, more killings were reported around the island, and many forums reported loss of animals' life. Now, each of these animals were reported to have had its body bled dry in the docu-series smaller circular incisions. Like, for example, the first reported attack eventually was attributed to the actual chupacabras that occurred in March of 1995 with 8 sheep that were discovered dead in Puerto Rico. Now, each were like 3 puncture wounds in the chest and reportedly completely drained of blood. A few months later, in August, an eyewitness by the name of Madeline Tolentino reported seeing the creature in his Puerto Rican town of Canovinos, where it had as many as 150 farm animals and pets were reportedly killed. Now, Puerto Rican comedian and entrepreneur Silverio Perez is credited with coining the term soon after the first incident was reported. Now, shortly after the first reported incidents in Puerto Rico, other animals' deaths were reported in the other countries, such as Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, the Dominican Republic. Oh my gosh. As well as Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama, Peru, and the U.S. So, there is a 2019 of a video recorded where it shows the result of a supposed attack of chickens in the Cebu sector of Lares, Puerto Rico. Now, let's talk about this reputative origin, shall we? Now, a 5-year investigation by Benjamin Radford would document in his 2011 book, Tracking the Chupacabra, and include the description was given by the original eyewitness in Puerto Rico, was based off a creature in Seal in 1995 sci-fi film Species. The alien creature, a seal, is identified to be identical to the eyewitness's account. Now, Radford revealed that the eyewitness believed that the creature in events saw in species were happening in reality in Puerto Rico at the time, and therefore concludes that the most important chupacabra description cannot be trusted. And the Radford believes seriously determining the credibility of the chupacabra as a real animal. I just don't believe it. I really don't. So, there have been many reports of these blood-sucking animals that were never confirmed by Negrossi. Now, the only way to conclude that the animal was drained of blood was Dr. David Morales, who was a Puerto Rican veterinarian who with the Department of Agriculture, who analyzed 300 reported victims of the chupacabra that was found that they had been blood dry. Now, Redford divided the chupacabra into 2 categories: the reports from Puerto Rico and Latin America, and the report in which the animals were attacked and supposed blood was extracted in the reports of the U.S. of mammals, mostly dogs and coyotes, mange, and the people called it chupacabra due to its unusual appearance. Yeah. So, in 2010, the University of Michigan, Barry O'Connor concluded that all the reports in the U.S. were simply coyotes infected with a parasite, Sescopes scabule, and whose symptoms would explain the features of a chupacabra, and they would be left with little fur, thickened skin, a rank odor. And he also theorized that the attacks on goats occurred because these animals were greatly weakened. Now, they're going to have a hard time hunting, is what he also said as well. But the prey can survive on the attack and die afterwards from internal bleeding or circulatory shock. Speaking of which, I was watching this documentary one time about this couple. These people, they were basically trying to get over sneak into the U.S. from Mexico and without having to go through Border Patrol. And apparently they were like found in the desert, like, and their blood was like sucked dry. And they even had this theory that it was a Chupacabra, but it was never proven. So anyway, even I think Criminal Minds did episode kind of similar to this, like no blood and everything, but they did. It was in the earlier season when Derek Morgan. Whew, that guy's good looking. Sorry, guys. I love me some Derek Morgan. I also love me some Spencer Reid. Season 6, not Spencer Reid, though. He had his glow up definitely in season 6. I will say that. But the presence of the two holes in the necks would correspond with canine teeth. And there was also reported to be since the land carnivores have to catch their prey. And there are reports that stray Mexican hairless dogs have been mistaken as chupacabras. Now, mange can be greatly altered in the expected animal, while the domesticated knives have severe cases of mange and have been proposed as explanations of the chupacabra. So, there is the most common description of a reptile-like creature that is said to have leathery, scaly, greenish-gray skin with short pines as well. And the other one is the breed of a wild dog, which is the American version. Now, is it plausible to exist? This panic started in Puerto Rico in 1995. Let's go ahead and get that started. I personally don't believe in it. I don't. But there's a lot of people who do believe it. Is it plausible? No. In my opinion, no. Humans, I have a feeling, can have a lot of work that can go into it. And there's a lot of cultures where, like, human sacrifice is, like, something they do and everything. Now, there are some related legends to this. One is like a Ozark Howler. There's also in the Philippines the Sigbin, which shares many of the descriptions as well. Now, in 2018, there was also reports of the chupacabras of the Myanmar, India, and many domestic animals and poultry were killed in manner similar to these attacks. But yeah. But what do y'all think? Do y'all believe in this? I personally don't. My personal opinion. I have a right to my opinion on that one. But yeah. But that is it for this episode. Join me next time as we talk about the Witch in the Woods. And then our next episode following that is going to be the Bell Witch hunting here in Tennessee. Then there's the White Screamer legend, I believe, which is also here in Tennessee. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing a lot more urban legends coming up in the next few episodes. And then I'm going to jump right back into talking about a really known empress in Europe. You might know her as Empress Sissy. But anyway, I'll see y'all next time.